Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the Stepson of Krypton,
I'm Mantis.
and today we are checking out Superman, the final slash second trailer. Now, it's been a couple of days since it came out. Or I think like yesterday we finally got the full version that was in without
Mhm.
Japanese subtitles. I didn't have time to watch it. I was busy getting a tattoo, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna save it for the freaking channel. So here we are, first time for me seeing it. Reaction to, and then we'll do a little discussion, kind of breakdown of what we've seen, what's new, what's just already
Mhm.
what we've seen.
Mhm.
Mantis, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, then let's go. All right, guys, we're not going to waste any time. We are going to jump right on into this new trailer. So here we go.
Superman. The most
That's kinda cool.
powerful being on planet Earth.
So we've seen that already.
We finally made it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Now, as planned,
He's bent over for a second. Sorry.
I'll destroy you.
Seen that.
And
Seen
of
that.
course, that reporter you always do interviews with. Who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
Ruthless.
No matter what you do to me, Luther, your plans won't work.
Wrap it up.
Good luck with that.
Oh,
Make a move, Big Blue.
Whoa.
oh damn. He's butting heads with Guy.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh.
They chose him. Let them die. Hey! Quit messing around.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Oh God.
All right.
Hey, bud.
Ultimate.
Eyes up
Uses
here.
ultimate there.
Yeah, right. All right. So, initial reaction, like when you see it, we obviously see. I don't want to say a lot, but we see a decent amount of the same footage, obviously. And
Mhm.
then we do see some additional scenes of that footage. Like when he's fighting the kaiju, we've seen a lot of that fight, or I say a lot. We've seen several different parts of that fight. We saw where he swooped in and saved the person from getting stomped, where the I don't know that I ever knew that like the kaiju was the what caused the big like all the tanks and stuff to fly at the little girl, and he goes in and swoops in and save her. But it confirmed, you kind of assume, right?
Mhm.
So, but there's little extras too. That's just a little extra
Remember, gang, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. All right.
that they're adding to it that I feel like we've gotten to see. Like we saw Luther with the ship or the craft that lands close to, I assume, the fortress
Mhm.
and all of that. But towards the back half, I think we got a lot more of things that we haven't seen. Right. Obviously, the little beef going on with Guy Gardner, where we see more of the city kind of being split apart by what looks to be what was going on with Metamorpho. We had talked about in the original trailer breakdown, where all that blue kind of crystalline coming up. So
Yeah, it could be there. I it's like you said, there were scenes we saw, but then maybe we got a picture or a little bit before, like a 30 seconds before, or a few seconds before that, or a few seconds after those scenes we had previously saw before. What I thought was interesting, this whole trailer was basically narrated essentially by Lex Luthor, and you kind of got to hear how he talks, his cadence. He seems like he's willing to kill. He doesn't care about people that care for Superman. And then, yeah, when Superman, looks like there's a pretty good fight scene inside of whatever the big split is, or that fissure that opens up in Metropolis. And then you see this, it looked like a portal that was sucking it in, right? So I know we talked about before in the previous video that, there's interdimensional space probably going to be used in this film, and how they use that. I'm assuming that's what that is. But yeah, you got the end there where he's just like goes God mode and uses ultimate. It's funny. It reminds me. I don't know if you've seen The Last Starfighter, right? Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
So when he takes the Starfighter out there against the something Armada, I can't remember the name of it, and he hits the red button. Yeah, he hits the red button, and the like transforms and starts spinning and shooting like lasers and kills everything. That's exactly, he hit the fucking red button,
Push the little red button. Yeah, he definitely kind of just started like laying waste to some people, which you got to assume maybe is either some robot people of Lex or coming from the other dimension, whatever the case may be. And it kind of makes you wonder if that's where this kaiju came from, right? Like, is Lex sending all of this at him? Because I know, so obviously before we got this trailer, there was talks that James Gunn had done some re-editing and shifting scenes around, and supposedly it was to make it feel less episodic, right? Like there was episodes, because from way I kind of at least initially looked at the trailer that we got, was like he and Lois are having this discussion, and as they have it, I feel like they were going to flash back to the moments they're talking about, right? Like, I stopped the war, and then we're going to see the scene of him stopping the war. And then as they continue to have this interview, we're going to flash back. And maybe that's what it was. And maybe that's why people thought it felt episodic, right? Because, okay, here's this episode, and then they start talking, and then they go back to this episode, and we're seeing all of these different things. And maybe they did away with that. Again, that's me 100% speculating.
Yeah, I thought the scenes, the VFX that I'm sure they kind of tinkered with there, people were upset with it. I think it looked great. I will say this: there was a scene where he's fighting, and he punches the guy, and his teeth fly out and hits the camera, kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. That's a whole, like, you could just be like, okay, James Gunn's doing James Gunn stuff there, like that totally. Like,
yeah, but like, you ever watch like The Kingsman?
Oh yeah, yeah.
They do the slowdown, and when he moves and the guy punches the other dude and breaks it had that kind of a feel to it, right? Where like Kingsman was kind of outrageous, but they were meaning to be like, it was supposed to be kind of like nonsensical, non-believable, but that outrageous spy movie. I kind of felt like that was the thing, like dude getting punched and his teeth kind of flying out. It was supposed to have, because I know I think it was Kevin Smith had talked about this movie and said it's very comic booky, right? So I feel like maybe that's one of those little kind of nods to, like, again, make it comic booky.
We talked about this. I'm selfishly hoping it is. I hope there's deep lore in this movie that people normies are like, what the hell is that? Now, again, that's just selfishly, because if it is like that, I don't think, it's not going to do well at the box office, unfortunately. So it's like a double-edged sword there. But even if that's the case, the action, the characters, the way that it's filmed, I think a lot of kids will like this movie. Again, crypto's in it. It's been a big thing there. I think the characters are easily relatable from what we've seen. I think kids are really going to like this movie. The normies, it may be in or out there. And maybe it's like there's subtle layers where you don't actually have to understand a lot of the back end stuff that's going on, or the deep canon. But if you do, those little Easter eggs are in there for you to find. But if you don't know, then it's not a big deal. It's not going to take away from the experience,
right? You have people like us that will break it down for you and point those out for you in the videos that we do after the movie releases. Now, for Amazon Prime members, you will have a chance to buy tickets to see the movie 3 days before it releases in theaters. They are actually selling only apparently a limited number.
Do it now. They're out now.
Yeah,
They're for sale
so
now.
you can buy it. I mean, they're expensive, as far as like, I mean, it's more than going and seeing. Kind of like you go get a 48-hour rental is almost the price of the full movie,
Yeah.
like through Prime and several other sites when you want to watch something that's literally just coming out in theaters. We will not be, or at least I'm not going to try to even get ticket for that. I want to see it theatrical. I want to see it on the big screen for the first time and enjoy it. So,
For sure.
we won't be doing a reaction to it until we come back that day from the theater, and we'll do a quick video on initial thoughts, and then we'll kind of break down probably a little more in depth there, because by the time we get out of the theater and see it and then try to record a video, it's going to be super late. We got to edit the damn thing and everything else like that, because it's what we do. You don't want to see all the weird parts we cut out. Okay, that's why we don't do Patreon. So now, get the full video. You don't want to see the full video. Okay, doing you a favor.
Trust us. You don't want to see it.
And you don't want us exposing ourselves.
But I don't know. I like what I've seen so far. I know, according to Gunn, the movie is done. There's not going to be any more edits. There's none. The movie is done. And I mean, you are literally less than a month out.
Yeah, I don't think he has time to do anything else to it.
I don't know anymore, because I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's like the old days where you have to send all the reels to the theaters and make sure they got them and get them all that shit. I don't think they do that anymore. Anybody who's actually a projectionist, you let me know how it goes. I'm not up on all of that. I still let some mystery in the world.
I would assume it's digital. I'd
have to, right? Yeah. But I'm just thinking of Tyler Durden in the industry. We call them cigarette burns, and like splicing single frames of pornography into Superman. Looks like there might be some softcore stuff going on with Clark and Lois. We don't know, so. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. It was nice to see some new like angles of the scenes, like the aerial acrobatics as he's trying to avoid getting burned by the kaiju was kind of cool. And the holding up, like he's kind of like
the building
upside down, but he's holding up the building there. That was kind of cool to see. I'm still hopeful. I like everything so far.
I think it'll be a fun movie. I think it'll be, if I come out after the movie and I'm cheering for Superman through most of it, I'll be happy about it. And this is supposed to tie in with a larger piece of the DCU, right? So I'm assuming there's going to be some consequences of what occurs in this film that's supposed to reverberate down the line from, in the rest of the films and TV series that they're doing for the DCU. So be interested to see what happens there on that end too.
Well, because Peacemaker season 2 is going to literally follow this movie. So where this movie ends, Peacemaker season 2 is basically picking right up. So it'll be interesting to kind of see, because Marvel did it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where the movie or the show kind of followed the movies. Like, oh, hey, this movie just ended, it's next in the show. DC hasn't really done that yet. So Peacemaker is the chance to, hey, here's what happened post everything that happened in Superman. So it'd be kind of interesting to see that as well. And then, since we're also going to have, Guy Gardner shows up for however long in Peacemaker season 2, because you see him and obviously Rick Flag Sr. and all that good stuff in there. It's kind of interesting to see Justice Gang and him and Guy beefing, but then again, always in the comics, like I said, that's just Guy, right? Like they're always going to have but he's like, do something big blue of like, yeah, like he could get that ring off your hand. Like he could from 1,000 freaking yards away heat vision your freaking finger off, and you don't have a ring, right? Like, what are you gonna do? But I like Nathan Fillion, so I'm gonna hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, Mantis, any final thoughts? We haven't done that segment in a while. On the final / second trailer.
No, I still got to read the junior novel, prequel novel, to see kind of what it's going to end up happening there. Other than that, just hope everyone enjoys it. Keep your, I say keep an open mind with it is my only thing. I'm hoping everyone thinks it's going to do well. I hope it does well. It's we just don't know. There's not a lot of success with the past movies of these things, and there's a lot of hate online right now for it that I just is just
Well,
isn't warranted. So
and I got to speak to those people right now, right? That anybody who might be watching this video and you've been here this long, if you have, we appreciate it. Even if you are wanting this to fail, right? Even if this movie fails, guys, it is not going to bring back the Snyderverse, right? It's not going to bring Henry Cavill back and have the we're going to pick right up with Darkseid again. That's not happening, right? It's just not going to, because again, by the time this movie either makes it, breaks it, and then you do anything, you're talking another 3 to 4 years, and like that's not going to happen. Like, I gotta imagine if this one fails and doesn't and just bombs and they cancel the DCU, you're probably not going to see another Superman movie for a little bit.
yeah, I think if there's too much money invested, they're going to plow forward, even if it doesn't do well. And I don't know. I think it's going to do fine. I don't know if it's going to be a box office hit, but I think it'll do okay.
I think it'll do well enough to continue the DCU because, again, similar to, like, if you ever look, we didn't get a Man of Steel 2, right?
No,
Like,
no,
they
ever.
went on, and that would probably be the same thing that happens here. We just wouldn't get a Superman sequel. We will get larger ensemble movies with Superman, just like that. Right? If this one doesn't do that well, because again, technically, Man of Steel didn't do like box office smash hit, so that's why they didn't do a second Superman in all that time. So, guys, we got to take what we've got here. I don't think what we have is bad. It's not like god awful terrible. It's not Christopher Reeve. It's not Henry Cavill. It's a completely different take. So just give it a chance. Don't go in hoping this is going to fail. Right? Just give it a chance, and we'll see once the movie releases. Right? And then if you don't like it, you don't like it. Nobody's gonna. I'm not hating on you for it if you just decide you don't like it once you see it. But you got to give it a chance.
There's movies that I just don't like, and that's just how it is. Like, unfortunate, So,
but give it the chance, and then come back here with us after the movie. We will be discussing, kind of doing a review of it, what worked, what didn't, what we would have liked to see different. We'll break it all down. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you will get notified if you have your little bells notification on right in that area there. I'm going to start putting it down at the bottom there when you do that. Like this whole up thing, like you pointed out, maybe it's being a distraction.
I don't know where. So it's like right here. Click that. Click the thumbs up. It's like right here.
Well, I did on the one video. I just put 2 arrows. I wasn't sure where it would appear, so I just put arrows. Like it's somewhere in this region here. Liking the video, subscribing to the channel, having the bell notification, guys. We try to do when we started doing YouTube. We're like, you know what? I don't like channels that spend a 3 or 4 minute intro and ask you to do all this stuff and go to Patreon and pay and do all this crazy shit. That's why we do it at the end, because most of you probably aren't watching right now, anyways. But that's why we put it at the end. So like. Do us that favor.
Maybe we should put it at the beginning.
Well, I started putting the animation at the beginning, one of them, right? Because usually we do 2 per video.
Okay.
I started putting that at the beginning, just so, right? So
look, you're pushing us to the edge, guys. You're pushing us to the edge.
We keep on with this, and people not want to subscribe. We're gonna fucking just bombard you in the very beginning. We'll do like everybody else because apparently that's what works. So don't make us become the thing. Like it's gonna, you either die everywhere or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Right?
Bingo. Yeah. We'll put those sons of bitches all over the screen and you can barely see our faces. Okay.
According to Ready Player One, you can take up 85% of the person's view screen before you induce seizures. Okay. That's what'll happen. All right, guys, before we go off the rails here, because it's getting bad, that is going to do it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Later.